Welcome to Insight Builder channel, large language model automators, Python experts, and my dear friends. Building knowledge graphs with Rebel, a step-by-step guide and a graph database storage process. Extracting entities and the relationship to enrich the information. We are going to build graphs like this in this particular discussion. And we are going to build these graphs from regular texts and then convert the text into entities and relationships, and then move and load them into graph database like Neo4j. There are various other graph databases also like Kudzu, which has been coming into the arena recently. LangChain had created a what is it called, the QA document reader with Kudzu database also. There are many other databases like Nebula graph database also. Most of the graph databases finally take the graph from you and they store it. The point here is that how to create the graph. So the idea here is, first of all, we need to again understand what is a knowledge graph, what is a nodes and relationships. We need to know how to locate the entities and the relationship inside given texts. So we have text. This is all free form text that you are looking at in the presentation. And what if you are given a presentation like this and you are expected to find relationship between words and take those words or take those sentences and then create graph like this. So we'll be seeing for that particular activity of identifying the entities and relationship, there is a model, open source model called Rebel by Bablescape. We'll be looking at it. We'll be extensively using it to create something called as triplets. So I'll be going deep into that in a couple of minutes. And once the triplets are created, or once the entities and relationships are identified, you have to use one of the methods either manually or to use the automated methods of importing the data into the graph database. Finally, why are we doing all this stuff? Because we can ask critical questions or more detailed questions or enriched questions to the graph database and get a good output from the output using the large language models. So that is the final output, but you will see the process that we follow. How is the graph database getting created? You will be seeing it step by step in this discussion. What we'll be doing is, first of all, we have to collect the text from this source. So that particular aspect I am going to not cover in this particular discussion. So I will take one of the news examples and I will take the text out of it and I will directly start working with the text only. Collecting the data from the source can be done in either by web scraping, or you can connect the source using any of the Python interfaces, and then you can start working with the text. Importing the Rebel model that we are going to discuss is it's a Hugging Face Transformers model. If you guys are new to large language model and the open source ecosystem as a whole, I would suggest you guys to take a look at this particular series of videos that I have curated in my playlist in my YouTube channel, especially the discussion that I make on Google Bard, the discussions that I use with LangChain. So all this will be a very good introduction for you guys to understand about large language model. And there's an entire playlist that covers specifically the open source model. So that will also be very helpful for you. So take a look at that. You will get up to speed in no time. Let me continue back to the PDF. As I was explaining that we'll be importing Rebel, I'll be showing you the code, how to import and how to work with it, and I will also be explaining what the codes are doing in a couple of minutes. So the triplets that I was talking about is, it will look like this. So once the text is sent into the Rebel model, the output will be in form of this triplets. So you see a head, you see a type, and you see a tail. So basically head is kind of an event or a subject, type is kind of a relation, and tail is kind of an object or the thing or a class, or it could be something that acted upon. So it's kind of a subject object predicate, or you can consider it as subject verb object. So such kinds of relationship can be imagined. When the same thing, if you are going to try it with ChatGPT, if you are going to try it with bar, the way they respond with the subject object relationship will be completely different. So understand one thing, this particular Bablescape Rebel large model has been fine-tuned to not just only it is not just only to locate the entities and the relation. It has been fine-tuned as a text generation model. So basically it has been given a lot of data which is in the form of text, and the input is in the form of text and the expected output is in the form of triplets. So such a curated data set has been used to train the model, the Rebel large Bablescape model, and then we are going to use that. After we get the triplets, what we are going to do is we are going to use manual method of creating the classes, creating the labels and the relations nodes, the nodes that you see here. We'll be manually doing it. Why manual? So I'll be explaining what will happen in a couple of minutes. So with that said, I believe that you will like this video. Do leave a like, share it with the others who are looking for understanding how to create knowledge graphs, and that too especially from plain text. And do subscribe to my channel for further updates on similar kind of videos with respect to large language models, Python ecosystem, and open source ecosystem. With that said, let me go to the browser right now. I'm going to dive directly into the discussion of where to find Rebel large model. So Rebel large model, you can find it in Hugging Face. If you have not signed up for Hugging Face account, do sign up for Hugging Face account. It's one of the most important service or website you should be signed up if you are going to work with large language models and NLP. There you can get this Rebel large. So Bablescape is one of the prominent language model contributors. So you can take a look at their complete company details and their team details in the Hugging Face model cards. So this is something that I want you guys to explore it by yourself. Next, what we are going to do is we are going to directly jump into the notebook. So this particular notebook I have. So this particular notebook I'll be sharing this notebook with you guys over the description of this particular YouTube video. So you don't need to worry about that. The point here is I'll be just going through the same process that I explained in this PDF here. I'll first of all get the model imported, extract the entities, store the entities. So I'll be going through this process, but each of these steps will involve multiple sub-steps. We will look at that in little more detail as we go into this notebook. First of all, I initially had planned to work with Neo4j and Kudzu, both of the graph databases through Python environment. But then I realized that it is going to be you guys must be coming as a new entrance into graph database and knowledge graphs, etc. So instead of complicating things using automation and Python scripting, I felt, okay, we will complete the activity of entity creation generation using Rebel model, and then manually create the entity node relationships in Neo4j. So we will be using one of the existing sandbox that is available, and free sandbox that is available, and create the relationship like this. So that will be our what we will do in this particular discussion, and the final output will look like this. So this is not a full-blown relationship. So here what you are seeing is just a couple of nodes and relationship that has been created for references. When someone actually says that, okay, creating knowledge graphs is simple, actually no, it's not. So there is a considerable amount of effort that is required. NLP is also required. It's not a straightforward process. So let us dive into that and see what exactly I'm talking about. So you can see the actual relationship that we'll be creating at the end of this video. Let us go back. So here we are pulling in the Bablescape model, a Rebel large model. So we are getting both the model as well as the tokenizer. Once you get it, I'm just initiating a simple sentence, text sentence that talks about LLMs, and then I'm going to send it through the tokenizer. So the tokenizer has a maximum length of 512, and then I'm going to send it through the model. Before that, I create this particular set of key value pairs. So this key value pairs is going to create me 4 sequences. Okay, so this is what you see here, and this is how you send you tokenize the model, tokenize the text here, and then you send the tokenized text into this model, and then you get the output here. So the output, you can see immediately that it comes in form of tags. So there is a tag, a proper tag telling that it's a triplet with subject, and it is an object, and it is also, there is a use. So like this, it is actually the model gives the output which has lots of tokens which separate the words. So we can use these tokens one by one, and we can extract the entities as we proceed in this particular discussion. So the Rebel model will create the triplets like this, and then we can extract the subject relation object from the triplets using this extract relation from model output. This particular function will do it for us. I am not actually going to dive into the explanation of this function. I would let you guys to review this code. It's pretty simple. So you have the data here, and if you read this code, if you understand the logic, then you will get to feel what each of the step of this if, else if, elif loop is doing, and how the output will be generated. I'll be showing you the output at the end. So this is one of the key function that we'll be using. And what we'll be doing next is when we are going to give such a large sentence so we are going to give a large sentence like this, and when we are going to give when we are going to work with text that is available in the wild, it's not going to be just one sentence. It's going to be a bunch of paragraphs with lots of sentences. So we have to create a kind of a harness through which you will be sending the text, and you will be processing it. So such a harness is this particular KB class. So this class creates has lots of inbuilt methods which checks for the relations, and it adds the relations to the relation list, and finally prints it. So it looks for the relations, it checks for the relation existence, it adds the relation if there is no relation existing, and then finally it prints the relation. So this is one of the basic harness. This particular harness I had got it from one of the Medium articles. I'll be linking the Medium article also along with this particular YouTube video, so you can directly refer to that particular discussion also. The only difference between that article in this particular video is that I move forward and start creating the knowledge graphs after the entities has been extracted. But in case of that particular blog post, you will see that the entities and the visualization of the entities are done inside Python Jupyter Notebook itself. It does not create a separate knowledge graph. And also one thing, so let me continue. I'll discuss this little later. So this is one of the functions where you use you create an instance of this particular class, and you start using the tokenizer, you start using the model key value args, and then finally you print the relations. So you go through this entire process, and why we are doing this is, once you create such a kind of an harness, you can easily return the entire object as a single variable, and then you can start working with it more easily. And after this is all done, you will see that I'm able to get simple triplets by just using the print method. So this is the purpose of creating such kind of harnesses. So also, this is one of the ways to learn Python, and to see how you can use the object-oriented programming to the fullest. So we will be seeing at the end of this video, you'll see that by using similar kind of method, we can actually export this dictionary into CSV files also. It's pretty simple once you understand pandas. Here you see that this output is in form of dictionary. So this is what I was telling you. So once this entire extraction completes, final output is in form of dictionary. And that dictionary is what we'll be referring to create the graph database at the final step. So let us continue. Okay, I am taking a little longer text right now, and this particular longer text I am sending it again through the function, and I'm trying to get the triplets. And you see that the output is not actually what we expect, and it is repeating. If you go up and if you review this logic, if you review this logic, sorry. So this to logic tries to ensure that none of the relationships are repeated. But then how come you are getting the repeated relationship? That is happening because the Rebel model will try to give different relations to the same kind of tail and head. So this is happening because this is not a state-of-art model to a level that we expect. Yes, it is still a state-of-art model. It can just create outputs that we want, but not always. So if you are going to execute this code at your end, you might get a different result most probably. Be ready for that. And also, whenever you are trying to execute this code, all the aspects of large language models work with this particular language model also. So it will have randomness, it will have stochastic output nature. Keep these things in mind when you are working with language models. And then so how to improve this? One of the ways to improve this is to split the text into small spans, and then take those spans and start getting the triplets out of it. So this is one of the additional step that this particular class does. So span KB. So KB is basically knowledge base. So if you guys are concerned that what is KB, why KB is getting used, so it is just knowledge base. Here you see that we are trying to work with merging the relations between multiple spans, and then we are finally saving it as CSV file. So I have just added two more functions, that is methods here, that is merge relations and save CSV. But when it comes to the from text to KB, this is an updated version of this function. So the same function that you see from small text to KB has been updated to from text to knowledge base, that is KB. There is no small here. And this has got a variable called as span length, which actually splits the input text into multiple spans, and then it sends it through the model and then gets the output and returns it to us as an object. Now this is the entire process which happens, and I have used an external text data, and I have created the output. So this text data is regarding forest fires and how to curb it in California. And you see there are lots of triplets that has been created, and immediately you can find that there are lots of repetitions. So it is talking a lot about cultural burn, and it is saying it is subclass of, so there are lots of options here. So it is saying subclass of prescribed burns, subclass of prescribed burn. So even the way the words are semantically different, so plurals and singular, is getting into different entities. This is not something you would have expected, right? If you if you send the same model, if you send the same data, not the model, sorry, if you send the same data through ChatGPT or through Bard, and if you ask it to create a knowledge entity graph or a entity relationship graph like this, you will find a completely different result. So if you are thinking, okay, the model that I'm getting here is model that I'm having here is not good, let me use ChatGPT or Bard, then you will have a different set of data and you have to work with it differently. So that is the reason, also one of the reasons why I will be right now showing you how to use this data and create knowledge graphs inside the Neo4j database manually. In that way, if you're not going to use this triplets, if you're going to use some other model, you will understand how you can create the knowledge graphs manually. But before that, by using this entire data that you're having as dictionary, this itself, these sets of data that you're having as dictionary, this itself can be used for creating better documents. I mean, more detailed, more information, condensed documents, concentrated documents, which you can again embed into vector databases, and then you can start querying it. That is possible, right? The idea of using knowledge graphs, the graphs like this that you see here, is to visually understand and analyze and also create data science related insights using the data, using the graphs. If you are going to think about embedding, then we are not going to embed these nodes and these relations. We are not going to do that. The text that forms out of these nodes and the relations is what we are going to embed. And this particular discussion I already had in one of my earlier videos. So you can take a look at my earlier videos and you will get the understanding about I'll also be attaching that particular video along with this discussion. So you can take a look at that. You will find the discussions about the attached videos at the bottom of this video. So you just scroll down and you will see there will be a list of videos which will be related to this discussion. So the model card, sorry, the YouTube video card that it was coming at the top has been now moved to the bottom. So just for your information, just give me a moment. So what I meant to say is I just want to show you an example. So this is one of the videos where I discuss how to work with Neo4j and how to do the text embedding using Neo4j knowledge graphs. In this particular video, if you scroll down, you will see this particular description. If you click on view more, and then if you scroll down, you will see the list of the videos that is linked with this particular video. So this is what I was trying to say. So the same way, when I am creating along with this video, if you scroll down, you will see these videos also linked. So this video will be linked along the video that you are watching right now. This is something that has been changed, so I just want you guys to be aware of it. Let us proceed further. So now we have got to this point where you have got the triplets. Now, how are we going to create the knowledge graph between these entities and the classes? We are going to do it manually, and each of these values, these values, we can use it as separate nodes, and these type values will be used as relationships, and this tail values will be used as one more set of labels and one more set of nodes. So if you come here, you will see that if I click on this, you can take a look at it here. So California is under the class label, and let me zoom in a bit so it will be easier for you guys to view. Yeah, California is under class, and wildfire is under the events. So in this case, the wildfires is located in California, and this particular node and this particular relationship has been created manually. And how it has been created is through using this set of using with this set of commands. So I have manually entered all these commands, okay, and let me separate it. So this is the event that has happened, various events, and this is the various classes of the events. So here here this particular input is wrong, so it should be classed like this. So once you change this like this, and then what happens is the graph database gets populated, and after that the relationship also gets populated. So in case of Neo4j, what happens is each and every line is a separate query, and each of these query can be chained together. So it's not going to, unlike other databases that we have come across in case of SQL, or if you have worked with MongoDB also, the query is given as a single sentence, and then the next query is given. But here each of this query is chained one after the other, and it will get executed sequentially. So you don't need to really think that will it work. So it does work. And also, if you see that each of the variables that I have attached here for each and every query, these variables can be used later for creating the relationship. This way of working with creating the graph nodes, the relationship is it can take a little time to get used to. So sit with the Neo4j and try to play with it. You will be able to understand what is going on. And so this is how, as I was showing you, that we have the triplets, and then we use this set of typed commands, and then we get this output. So that's how you create knowledge graphs. So you can actually create knowledge graphs by creating kind of CSV files, and you can use the CSV files to, so for an example, if I run this particular cell, I will create a CSV file here, and I can use that CSV file. So if I double click this, so this will open up a CSV file that again can be loaded in this graph database using load CSV with headers from. So that is a command for that. However, I'm not using that. Also, that is another one way where you can avoid all these things, and you can use import Neo4j, and you can start querying this particular database from Jupyter Notebook or Python ecosystem, which I have discussed this in the earlier videos. You can take a look at that. But again, the reason why I'm talking about here is the main objective of this particular discussion is to build knowledge graphs, and to extract entities, build knowledge graphs inside Neo4j. I did not speak about automating stuff here. So you have to do it manually in order for you guys to start automating it. So try working with this example manually, and try to see what kind of challenges you guys face, because most of the time when you execute, when you see the these kinds of tutorial, and when you try to start implementing it yourself, you will see a lot of output difference. And once that output difference comes into picture, then the real challenge starts for you. So that is why I always insist on practicing. So try to take a look at the code that I've shared, do practice, and if you have any questions, do leave a comment in the YouTube in this particular video. I will try to revert as soon as possible. So with that, I am about to wrap up this particular discussion. So we have seen how we can work with Rebel model, how we can create the various triplets, and from the triplets how the entities are extracted using the Python function. And then once the extracted dictionary of entities, relationships has been created, then we saw how we can create the knowledge graphs inside Neo4j. So we have seen it. It's a pretty brief video with a lot of information. I believe that you have learned a thing or two from this video. Do leave a like and share it with others, and most importantly, practice. The idea of working with these kinds of systems can be intimidating in the beginning, and there is a high chance that your brain is right now procrastinating. But just get over that, and start typing out the commands. You will see that once you start getting good outputs, I mean the outputs that you want, then you will start understanding it fast. So with that said, I would like to come to a close of this video with 4 words, that is practice, 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 practice. See you guys. Have a great time.